So Walsh, right? You beat the AP state champs. You beat your rival across town. End up losing the city championship, but you win the playoff,
which was regional.
Yeah, and so now you're in the state semis against Walsh, who was second, I believe, in AP, right, in the state. I think they were ranked second. So now, and I know, right, you're just thinking about that next game, but at some point, something has to start factoring, like, hey, we got a shot to, whether it's watching film, hey, we can beat these guys. If we play well and we do what we've done, we can beat them, which means we're going to be in a state championship. And I know you're not a guy who thinks down the road, but at some point, that has to start factoring in.
Yeah, they had a big fullback that went to Notre Dame, played at Notre Dame, and a little scat back, tailback that was really a good player, and the quarterback was solid. And I talked to their coach before the game. He said, yeah, we bring kids in from 60 miles away.
Mm-hmm. Or recruit, huh?
Yeah. In any event, we knew that we looked at it, after looking at 10 film, because we exchanged always exchanged our regular season if they were willing to do that. And I don't know that they really thought we were a legitimate threat. Weather helped us, but they might have taken us for granted a little bit. But it was a defensive battle. It was a slugfest at the beginning of the game. They were struggling to move the ball. We were struggling to move the ball. And they went up 6-0, and we got the ball back right before halftime and threw one up down around the goal line. And Anthony made a circus catch, and we went for two, and on tight end delay, and Ollie caught it at the back of the end zone.
So,
I'm sorry.
They ended up going 7, then you end up tying it up at 7.
Right.
On the first touchdown down the sideline.
Correct. It was in the second half that.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about that. So, there were a couple times leading into that touchdown play that Antoine hits Anthony with the deep ball, well defended. But it just, I guess, maybe knowing what had happens, it's like, eventually he being Anthony's going to make that play.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you go to him enough, he's going to come down with something. Now, he still makes a couple unbelievable catches through that run that are just, phenomenal. And 2 of them in this game. And so when he hits, in essence, when he hits that home run and it's 7-7, what are you kind of thinking? What's your thoughts in that?
We can win this.
Yeah,
we can win this. And the game comes down to, again, it's a defensive battle in the second half, and they got the position, they have the ball at the end of the game, okay, and putting a little drive together, and it came down to a fourth down play, and I believe Danny Lynn makes a play, and I could be wrong on that, but for some reason that jumps out at me that we stopped him for no gain, and that was the game.
Yeah, it's nothing, 7-7. You guys are going back and forth, and it's just a defensive battle. What Anthony has from the Vindicator, 4 receptions for 183 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know, you're quoted as saying he's been doing that all year. He's just a phenomenal athlete, and you can't cover him. You know, on both of those plays, I think he was double covered, right? And then the second long one, which was not a touchdown, which is what you're talking about with Ollie Hightower, it's bobbled 4 to 6 times.
Oh yeah, it's like
Between the defender and him and defender, like
it was like a volleyball game.
yeah. You know, and he comes down with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just watching those games. You're never out of it because of that. I mean, one swing of the bat, he can hit a home run.
Yeah, that I believe it put it on the 6.
Yes, and that's when. So, Ollie Hightower, can you? What was that? Was that circle seam delay?
No, that was 2 tights, stack eye, and it was 48 seam delay.
Okay, seam delay.
And he's a tight end,
Mm-hmm.
and he blocks 1001, 1002, 1000 go, and runs to the corner flag, and they're all over off tackle. Secondary's frozen. Ollie catches it, and
Yeah.
we get in.
So, what? Then Walsh gets the ball. They punt. You have a possession. You have to turn it back over, and then they end with the ball. Down to the 25 with under a minute to play, but you guys hold the game out.
Yeah.
This was Walsh's 3rd state semifinals in 5 years. What's the thought process? What's the conversation like? Probably not much, but what's the conversation like after the game, after you beat Minerva 10-0 AP state champs, and you beat Walsh after that game? What's that conversation with the coach like?
Well, it's let's get ready to meet all night. I'll call for the exchange and get ready to stay the night because we're going to go and play for a state championship.
Yeah. What's the conversation like with the opposing coach? Hey, good game.
Well, unfortunately for him, we had that same conversation a couple times. Beat him at YSU the same way.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
No, a great coach, Jerry Rardon, I believe was his name. I think he was in shock. I mean, I don't believe that he had any thoughts of losing the game. We were walking on the cloud.
Yeah. I do want to ask you this. So when you played at YSU, and then you played at Canton, and then you go and play, wait, where was the second one at? Where was Walsh at?
Walsh was at Canton.
Okay. So I remember back in the day playing at YSU. Were they still doing the shoes? Were you had to go get your shoes there?
Oh.
Or did they have shoes? Because I don't know. I just want.
No. There was no shoe bank then.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They used to bring them in. Yeah, you'd order them, but I think we were past that.
Yeah. Okay.